I think it's mainly this issue around de-risking, and that's really going to be dependent on what the listener's individual circumstances are. Like,
I think people don't know it's a problem. I think the regulator should take a view on that, and because I don't think your average person knows if they should be de-risking or not. And if you frame it as de-risk, everyone's gonna be like, well, I don't want any risk. I'll take no risk.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And like, you know, the idea of when you hit 67, whatever, that you've got a big pot of cash and there you go. I think that fits most people's idea of what retirement is, whereas what they actually need to think about is, no, imagine you're 20 at 67 and you're about to embark on a 40-year journey. What would you do? You would be invested because, you know, you need to maintain the pot, don't you? I don't know. I think the regulator, I think it's like, if we just go to everyone, it's up to you. People will just be like, well, I've only just realised I've got a pension. Like,
yeah.
The regulator should go like, stop de-risking everyone. What are you doing?
Yeah. I think the regulator are always erring on the side of caution, aren't they? And that's, you know, maybe that's part of the issue.
But the biggest, like the mad thing is, by erring on the side of caution, you're going to bankrupt the country because no one's going to have a decent sized pension. So how about we caution against that? Do you know what I mean? Right? Because like we can sit here and go, oh, let's all pay more into our pensions, when really the biggest levers that we could do is get people decent returns and reduce their fees. If we do those two things, no one needs to pay anything more in. We stop people getting rinsed on fees and we get them a decent return. You make an extra 4% a year there, and you might compound that over 30 years. You double the size of the pot, treble it, and no one needed to pay anything more in. So, you know, I would like to see the regulator tackle that.
I'd be reluctant to say people shouldn't pay more in or don't need to pay more in, because I think
it's not the only answer, and I think that's where everyone tends to focus. And you know, like everyone needs to pitch in, and the industry could reduce its fees. Superannuation is much cheaper. You know, a couple of basis points. We're saying, oh, we'll only charge you 0.7. 0.7 in the modern world of indexes is high. Like you can get indexes at 0.2, you know, and I know they do other stuff. They're buying their wind farms and all of this, but
I think, to be fair to the workplace pensions, 0.7 is an outlier. I mean, look at your fees, because there are legacy funds where you're paying 0.75, which is the cap, or higher. But to be fair to the workplace pension funds, a lot of them are way lower than that.
But even 0.2 of a billion is a shitload of cash. 0.2 of 30 billion, 100 billion. These things are going to be big, right? They're going to be like 100 billion by the time I retire, these default schemes.
Yeah.
Like Nest will have 100 billion in it. So 0.2 of that is like, what are they buying? With all that, whose fees they paying? Like, where does the amount? I don't know. It just seems like a lot of money. A couple $100 million a year to run it.
It's healthy.
I mean, like I said, the Nest guy sat there and goes, well, we've got to pay for all the payments. We've got to administer it all, and we've got to do that.
Yeah, but like, when you say that people should, the government have to err on the side of caution.
I didn't say they have to. I think they do.
The regulator is probably employed to be cautious, right?
Exactly.
But that reminds me of my partner, because she was like, about a year ago, she's like, I don't want to invest. I just want to have my money in my bank. It's safer that way. Then obviously she watches the podcast and she's like, inflation's eroding my money. So it's not actually safe in the bank. It's less safe if I need to invest because it's not safe for me to keep in the bank, so I'm losing money. So in the same way, we're in a cost of living crisis. Telling people you need to contribute more is I only can contribute more because I've got 2 jobs. But like, so it's not easy to say contribute more when you could just try and improve the returns, and then obviously contribute as much as you can. But if you improve the returns, it kind of helps in the long run, rather than just be like, get more money. And it's like, I'm barely paying my rent right now. So
we've encouraged you to pay in, and we've also halved our fees, like, and that's going to earn you an extra X amount potentially. I think it's a better message, isn't it? Because you're just telling people to constantly pay more tax, pay more this, pay more that, and pay more into your pension. When there's never like, you should spend a bit less on that.
Well, I'm going to defend the workplace schemes here, because I think their performance on average isn't too bad.
Okay, that's good.
But I think it's where it pays to look at your individual pension. Because there are some real turkeys in there. But on average, I think they are focusing on it more. And like, say, with Nest, you know, they're in a difficult position because they mop up all the really tiny employers and they have a lot of costs doing that. They're actually a not-for-profit. So I don't think it's necessarily like the industry taking advantage. It's just, it is an expensive thing running a workplace pension with all the with all the regulations involved. But in terms of you as an individual, like, yeah, I completely agree that for a lot of younger people, you really need to look and think, should I be de-risking? And maybe there's a wider conversation around, like, is de-risking the right thing for the average person? I think the regulator maybe needs to sort of like actually research that and shine a spotlight on that and say, what should the default be doing? But also, like, we are getting, as a country, I feel like young people are getting more excited about investing, but they don't see pension as part of that. Like, a lot of people don't even realise they're invested in their pension. And actually, pensions are like investments, but better, because you get the tax relief, you get the employer contributions. So, that can make a huge difference in terms of building your wealth. And the added bonus, if you're like me, is, you can't touch it. So it's there, like, building up and building up.
That was a clip from our chat with Alice Guy. It's all about pensions. To watch a full episode, click right here.